These days, if you're online and mention trolls, this is usually what comes to mind. Or if you're like me, you're thinking about the inhabitants of Nilbog. However, in Norway, trolls are quite a different thing altogether. Trolls are steeped in Norwegian folklore and have been around for quite some time. When writer-director André Øvredal was young, his parents and grandparents would read to him from a book of Norwegian folktales, often called Asbjørnsen and Moe. Many of the stories in the book revolved around monsters called trolls. They came in various shapes and sizes, some only a few inches tall, while others were towering at 20 and 30 feet. Some had multiple heads, some had tails, but most commonly they were big, dumb, strong, and had very large noses. When Øvredal was older, he got a film degree from the California Brooks Institute, and in 2000 made a student film called Future Murder. He wanted to make a film about Norwegian culture, but with a Hollywood style, and thought trolls would be the perfect subject. He was influenced by movies like Jaws and Jurassic Park, but the problem was, how do you make a movie like that with only a small budget? The answer was to make the film as a mockumentary. He started writing the script, but was having problems finding the direction he wanted to go. He wrote 4 different scripts trying to figure it out, and finally decided to focus on a group of college students making a documentary about bear poachers, only to discover their subject is actually a troll hunter. He presented an early draft for a grant from the Norwegian government, which helped him get most of his production budget. While working on casting and the logistics of the film, Øvredal continued refining the script. He added more dark humor as well as a healthy dose of political satire. The film also intentionally had the feel of a road movie. For the lead character of Hans, the troll hunter, they hired Otto Jespersen, a well-known Norwegian comedian and satirist. They also had a few other well-known Norwegian comedians in smaller parts. The character of Hans was written to be a mixture of Indiana Jones, Quint, and House. The movie was all about how disgusted Hans was with his job. He's protecting the populace from these monsters that he can never get any recognition for because the troll's security service is keeping everything under wraps. When the students find him out, he takes this opportunity to show them what he goes through every day in secret, how he has to make sure the trolls stay in their areas, and to kill them if they get too close to the population. Since they usually turn to stone, he has to jackhammer the bits so they're unidentifiable. For him, it's exhausting work and he wants out. While designing the look of the trolls, Øvredal turned to many old paintings and drawings of the monsters. He didn't want to have just one kind of troll, so they designed numerous breeds for the film. The Tusselad, Ringelfinch, and Mountain King to name a few. Each troll had his own unique look and distinct behavior. He added numerous nods to Scandinavian folklore like Three Billy Goats Gruff, or the fact that some trolls can smell the blood of a Christian man. He also incorporated how trolls either turn to stone or blow up in sunlight. He used this as a way for Hans to fight back against the trolls by hitting them with UV lights. He also put in an homage to the painting Santa Maria Castle, which is based on the fairy tale of the same name. Within the fairy tale is also where they got the lore of trolls smelling Christian blood. Since they were shooting the movie as a found footage film, Øvredal wrote it in a way that would separate them from the Blair Witch Project. He left much of the dialogue open so they could improv. Another way to separate the movie from the glut of found footage films was to try to keep the camera as stable as possible. They shot the film in 6 weeks in western Norway for about $3.5 million. Not surprisingly, it was very cold while filming. They shot the film in order as they traveled across the forests and mountain ranges of the country. Øvredal did this because he knew the local audience would recognize the locations and they'd call them out if they were somewhere they shouldn't have been. While filming, they would often stop to catch some of the amazing scenery and would improv scenes to incorporate them into the film. Since the movie was inspired by Jurassic Park, they put in a shot where you could see the troll in the rearview mirror as an homage. While they planned some practical effects like Hans smashing this troll leg, much of the effects were CG. Since they were on a shortened schedule, they had 3 effects houses handle the computer animation: Storm Studios, Gimpville, and Superrune. They didn't storyboard any of the effects, they just shot the film with the CG work in mind. In doing that, they had certain rules in place, like not having branches in front of the camera for scenes where there'd be trolls, since it would be too costly to rotoscope them out. For such a small budget, the troll effects are amazing. They did an excellent job of making the audience feel the scale of the creatures. While filming, the cast and crew kept the project a secret. Then as they got closer to being finished, Øvredal released snippets on the internet, hoping it would go viral. While doing post-work on the film, they came across some footage of the Norwegian Prime Minister talking about an oil field outside of Norway called Troll Field. They thought this was too perfect and edited the audio to make it look like he accidentally admitted to the existence of trolls.
Norge har troll, sånn at det kommer til å være behov for flere strømledninger i Norge.
They originally had a different ending, but this proved much better than what they had shot. They took the movie to various film festivals, and it was a hit. It was reviewed by the Norwegian Broadcasting Company, who called it a new classic that combined Norwegian culture with cinematic Hollywood flair. Because of the buzz behind the film, it was picked up by Magnet for worldwide distribution. Overdal was considering working on a sequel, but the US rights were sold to remake the film, so he put the idea on hold. Troll Hunter is an excellent film and a wonderful example of what can be done with relatively little money. There have been larger films with 10 times the budget that don't have CG anywhere near this impressive. The movie's often beautiful, with shots of the landscapes and sweeping pans of the mountain ranges. While the movie is largely a dark comedy, it also has some genuinely tense moments. It never goes full-on horror, but it does have its share of scares. It's proof that not all found footage films are shaky cam scream fests. With enough creativity and the right people at the helm, they can stand way out from the crowd. It's sad this went straight to video on demand and DVD in the US because it could have very well have been an even bigger hit. While a huge mainstream audience wouldn't have understood much of the subtle nuances in Norwegian satire, there still would have been plenty of people that grasped the basics. Plus, how can you not laugh at something like the TSS Troll Security Service? Despite the fact that the buzz for the film has long since worn off, Hollywood is still trying to push a remake through. It's kind of like the remake of Martyrs, which took 8 years to finally happen, and when it did, it was exactly the kind of movie everyone feared it would be. Garbage. With an American remake of Troll Hunter, what's the point? If they do a straight-up remake, most will think it's just a horror film, and if they change it, that'll just make it another generic found-footage monster film. If they do force the remake through, I can almost guarantee it'll be tremendously overdone and miss the point by miles. At this point, they should just let it go and take the money they'd be wasting and invest it into something much better, like Troll Hunter 2.